and a warm welcome to everyone logging on to today's webinar. My name is Alistair Alexander and I am an application consultant at Elite Dynamics. Today we're going to look at the booking API log. Firstly, at how it looks when everything is running nice and smooth, and secondly, how to identify the errors and what we do next with these error messages. Before we jump into today's topic, a quick introduction to myself. I've been with Elite Dynamics for just over 15 months now. I've also got just over 10 years experience working with Dynamics Nav and Business Central. Before joining Elite, I was working out on the EliteParks, and I worked there for about 14 years doing every job you can think of, from cutting the grass to tending the leisure desk to eventually ending up in the central office with the finance team. If we now jump onto our demo environment here, and in the top right hand corner search for API logs and select this top one here. This screen will always open up with a system filter on this status column, and it will always show you the errors or the unhandled API lines. If we want to remove this filter and show everything in here, we can click this one here where it says show system filters, and then simply click this X here. You now have a list of every single API call that has been made on the system. If we go into this one here that I saved earlier, and again we can see that it's automatically filtered on a status of error. If we right click here and clear, we can see a view of this booking. Before we look any further at the lines within this filtered view, if we just look quickly at the different columns. So first of all, we have this API module. This will list every type of incoming call to the system. This can be things like the booking API, which will be your third-party website. It can be things like PitchUp, whole seasons, the owner app, anything that calls EliteParks and makes a request will be shown in here. All of these calls that come in have what we call functions, and these again are all listed here. Next, we have a date time and a date. So both are listed here to provide the option to filter on a specific date, but then the date timestamp also allows you to ensure that you sort the data in the order in which it came into the system. Response time here, again, this is just recorded in case you have error messages, and if the response time is significantly larger than these figures, that could be the potential reason why. Next, we've got a request column and a response column. Whenever a booking API call or any API call is successful, you'll have both a request and a response, and these can be viewed here and here. You also have a status, which there is only 3, so you have successful, error, and unhandled, which are all pretty self-explanatory. And then when you have a status of error or unhandled, you'll have the corresponding error message displayed here. Next one is reference. This just shows you the booking number or potentially the third-party booking reference. And then lastly, you have a user ID. This can just help provide a filter or streamline the data source in which this came from. So if you've got different sources of bookings, this could be useful. If we now look at the lines on the screen, we can get a bit of a feel for the customer's booking journey on the website on this occasion. So the first line here is for create booking. So prior to this entry on this date at this time, there will have been some successful find availability searches, but until the customer progresses to the next step on their booking journey, there's no reference number. So the create booking call is what assigns the EliteParks reference number. Here we have an update booking availability, so this is just bringing the two systems back into sync with what's available and what's not. On this occasion, we have some update vehicle and guest calls, so this is just adding vehicle details and guest details to the booking. Get booking calls are just the website pulling all the information into itself or sharing the information with EliteParks. Update extras is a call when someone adds an extra to the booking. And then this one here is potentially one of the more important ones because the tag booking call is what tags the booking in EliteParks and therefore removes the availability from sale on EliteParks. So up until this point, you could have two people trying to book the same unit for the same dates, and whoever gets to this stage first will win that race, so to speak. And then lastly, we've got some get booking calls, and then finally an untag booking. So as you can see from the times here, there's about a 20-minute delay in this booking process moving forwards, and the booking has automatically untagged itself. This time period will be set based on the filters with each individual web provider, but this ensures bookings are not left in a tagged state when the customer aborts the basket. If at this stage here the customer carried on with the transaction and subsequently made a payment, you would see some further calls of make payment, and then also on payment we do a final check availability just to ensure everything is as it should be, and then the booking is finally confirmed. So this is how it looks when everything is working as it should and everything is in sync. Unfortunately, sometimes there are error messages, and these can be seen in the same place but with a different status. So if we go to another system here, we can see that this booking here has 5 error messages. In fact, it only has 2 different error messages, but the same one is listed 4 times because at 4 different occasions this booking has been submitted with insufficient information to make the booking. So this is because EliteParks require certain fields as mandatory, and these fields haven't been completed on the website. Lastly, at the bottom here we have another error saying amount 560 is greater than the outstanding amount of 169.90. So EliteParks will automatically reject a booking if the amount being paid exceeds that of the booking total. This just ensures that we never overcharge customers and essentially hold money that we don't know what it relates to. Also, we can see here that the response column has no ticks in the boxes. This is because no response has been sent as the request has errored and the web provider has received this error message. So as you can see, the log entries for those with a status of error and those of a status of successful don't differ, other than those in error give you the corresponding error message to the right. If you go back to this other system here and we look at a couple of fixes for the most common error messages. The first most common message is something along the lines of this plot or unit is not available for this start date to this end date. The best way to address this error message is by making a note of the plot or unit number and the start and end date of the holiday requested. Then navigate to the booking matrix. The holiday in this example was for Park AF with an arrival date of the 30th of January 2023, and it was for plot 15B. Here we can see the unit has actually been taken offline for a TV crew. This is what has caused the error message, and this can now be addressed or rectified. The next most common error message is something along the lines of available for booking must be equal to yes. In this example, if we navigate to units and unit 4 and scroll down to the bookings fast tab, we can see the current booking park code is AF, the booking plot number is 18A with a booking grade of Chestnut. However, here on the left, we can see that the available for booking toggle is off. This can be rectified by toggling on. Hopefully this has given you some insight into the booking API log and addressed any fears or concerns you may have when looking at this. The most important thing to remember is even if the list is large, it can always be filtered and dealt with in manageable chunks. It is really key to keep on top of these error messages because if they allow to grow, you'll end up with further and significant problems down the line, whereas a daily check can save a lot of pain further down the road and, importantly, stop any losses in revenue. Thank you for your time today. I hope you all enjoyed the webinar.